There are two types of restaurant owners on the streets. The first has 3 branches, delivery drivers, a social media account, and a billboard logo. He also has $1 million in debt, 2 managers running the business for him, and he hasn't slept a full night in years. The second has 1 location, 1 kitchen, a small parking lot, and generates $3.5 million in revenue per year. Same industry, same product, completely different approaches. Today we are examining the second man, and by the end of this video, I promise you will question many things about building a business. His name is Daniel, Chef Daniel, and his restaurant is called Country Kettle Chicken. The exterior of this $3.5 million business is not what you would expect. There is no drive-through ordering, no table service, no loyalty app. The walls are not covered with franchise plaques. This is simply a counter-service place where people have been lining up for 20 years, and the reason is not a marketing campaign. The food is unbelievably good, and this is the first and most important lesson. In a world where every entrepreneur is chasing scale, Chef Daniel chose to chase something different: mastery. And it turns out, mastery can be more profitable than size. Amateur restaurant owners want to open a second location before perfecting their first. They think growth is horizontal: more branches, more staff, more money. But Chef Daniel understood something business schools rarely teach. Depth creates more value than width. When you focus deeply on one product, one location, one experience, customers don't just like you, they need you. And a business people need is the kind of business that generates serious money. Now let's talk about the most important decision a fried chicken shop owner will face. It usually happens around the 6th or 18th month, when profit margins are thin and bills are high. Someone, maybe your accountant, maybe your partner, maybe your own inner voice, says, "What if we switch to a cheaper oil? What if we buy chicken from a lower-cost supplier? Would customers really notice?" And here's the truth: they won't notice immediately, but their bodies will, their taste memory will, and one day, without warning, they simply stop coming back, and they can't even explain why. They just say, "It's not the same." Chef Daniel built his entire reputation on what he calls the 48-hour farm-to-pan rule. The chicken goes from farm to frying pan within 48 hours, not 72 hours. Not a week, 48 hours. That means the texture is different, the moisture retention is different, the flavor profile is completely different from the frozen, mass-produced chicken used by most fast food chains. And yes, it's more expensive, but what that cost buys you is something powerful, a product that cannot be copied by a competitor cutting corners. It gives you a competitive advantage. In business, a competitive advantage is what protects you from being copied, underpriced, or replaced. Chef Daniel's advantage is freshness, and the price of a true advantage is immeasurable. Think about this carefully. Every dollar Daniel spends on premium chicken is a dollar he doesn't need to spend on advertising, because the food markets itself through word of mouth. In a city of 4 million people, a city full of every cuisine imaginable, people drive from one end of the city to the other just to eat at Country Kettle Chicken, not because of Instagram, because of honesty. Quality is not a cost line. It is the most powerful, most value-creating, and most defensible investment you can make. Here's the number that might surprise you. Country Kettle Chicken generates over $3.5 million in annual revenue and maintains profit margins consistently above 15%. In an industry where average restaurant margins range from 3 to 9%, that is extraordinary, and the reason is simple: no table service, no waiters, no tipping system, no table clearing staff, no elaborate resetting of tables between customers. Customers arrive, place their order, wait, and receive their food. That's it. At first glance, this might seem like a small operational detail, but look at the numbers. In a full-service restaurant, labor alone can consume 35 to 40% of your revenue. You are paying servers, food runners, hosts, and the managers who supervise them. At Country Kettle Chicken, that labor percentage drops dramatically, and every percentage point recovered goes directly to the profit margin. Chef Daniel made a conscious philosophical choice. Instead of slowly serving 100 customers at tables and barely breaking even, he would efficiently serve 300 happy customers at the counter. He optimized efficiency, not atmosphere. The result is a lean, powerful, self-sustaining machine. Complexity is expensive. Every new system, every new role, every additional layer of management increases friction, and friction costs money. The most profitable businesses in the world are not the most complex ones. They are the most refined. They identify what they do perfectly and eliminate everything else. Ask yourself, what could you remove from your operation today that would reduce the strain on your cash flow without damaging the customer experience? Let's talk about one of the most overlooked financial disciplines in the food industry: waste management. Not trash waste, food cost waste. The average restaurant wastes between 4 and 10% of its food inventory every week. That is money you purchase, store, and eventually throw away. For most owners, it's a silent loss they never fully measure because they are busy dealing with other problems. Honey's Kettle uses a batch cooking model. Instead of cooking continuously all day and letting food dry out under heat lamps, the kitchen prepares food in carefully timed batches based on demand patterns they have studied for 20 years. Lunch rush? A batch is ready. Afternoon slowdown? The kitchen rests. Dinner rush? Another perfectly timed batch. This does two things at the same time. First, it preserves quality, because every piece of chicken is cooked within a narrow, fresh time window. Second, it almost eliminates waste, because you never overproduce for demand that doesn't exist. In a business with thin margins, the ability to match production to real demand is not just operationally smart, it is financially transformative. Every piece of chicken sitting unsold is part of your profit margin evaporating. Study your demand curve. Know your peak hours. Build your production schedule based on data, not assumptions. A kitchen that cooks with precision will always outperform a kitchen that cooks with hope. In 2024, the world celebrates founders who raise $50 million and open 30 locations in 18 months. These founders appear on magazine covers, are invited to podcasts, and collect 200,000 likes on LinkedIn. Then, usually 2 years later, they quietly file for restructuring. Because rapid growth without infrastructure, culture, cash reserves, and systems that support that scale is not growth. It is controlled demolition in slow motion. Chef Daniel has been operating in the same location for more than 20 years. In an industry where the average restaurant closes within 5 years, he has spent 2 decades in the same city with the same product, steadily building reputation and customer loyalty, and he did it completely debt-free. This is the turtle strategy. Move slower than everyone else, build stronger than everyone else, and when the time comes, when the right strategic partner appears, when the capital structure aligns, when the systems are truly replicable, then you expand, not before. A second location financed with debt and immature systems is not a growth strategy. It is a liability you pay interest on every month. This is the core philosophy of the entire video. Optionality. Optionality means having the ability to choose. You can expand if you want, but you don't have to. You can sell if the right offer arrives, but you are not desperate. You can take a month off without your business collapsing because the systems operate without you. Debt destroys optionality. Complexity destroys optionality. Dependence on your personal presence destroys optionality. Every decision should not only be evaluated by asking, will this make me more money? But also, will this give me more freedom or less? In 2009, Country Kettle Chicken burned down. Literally, a fire destroyed the kitchen. The equipment was gone. And Chef Daniel faced the moment every entrepreneur fears, the moment that strips everything away and asks, What are you really made of? He rebuilt, and the reason he could rebuild while many others in similar situations shut down forever was financial discipline. For years, while competitors reinvested every dollar into expansion, equipment upgrades, and locations they could barely afford, Daniel maintained what financial strategists call a crisis fund, a reserve, a buffer between his business and disaster. It wasn't a sophisticated financial instrument. It was a disciplined habit. Every week, a percentage of revenue set aside, untouched, quietly accumulating. When the fire came, that fund made the difference between closure and recovery. The business didn't just survive, it came back stronger, with renewed reputation and a loyal customer base waiting for the doors to reopen. Before hiring another employee, before upgrading equipment, before spending on marketing, ask yourself, if this business earned zero revenue for the next 90 days, would it survive? If the answer is no, you don't have a business. You have a fragile structure with a beautiful exterior, but no foundation. Build the foundation first, always.